having me. Very honored and grateful to be here, and what a beautiful transmission we just received before. What a beautiful opening to the space. Yeah, so I've got quite a few things prepared to speak about today. I will also be taking questions. You guys can write questions. I'll see if I get intuitively called to answer, and I'll maybe keep a little bit of time towards the end as well, just to answer if there is anything pressing that comes up. Hello to everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you. So since this is, the Starseed conference, I am going to try to keep all of it Starseed related. There's a few things that came up for me to speak about this morning when I tuned in. I always try to prepare for these things, but then it's just, it is what it is. I'll just pull through what comes through momentarily and what is needed for you guys at this moment in time. So I'm just going to start quickly by explaining this information when it comes down to Starseeds, because I know there's a lot of confusion. This is from what I've channeled. There's kind of like different types of starseeds. Obviously, we've got our hybrid soul DNA, and then we've got our actual genetic DNA structure. Okay, so those are two separate things. So I want you guys to understand that when I'm speaking about starseed souls, it's about the soul, and when I'm speaking about galactic DNA, it's more the if you want to say, physical construct and make of our energy field and of our physical body and system. Okay, so starting from the fact that we all have galactic DNA within us. All of us, every single human being has it, because we all, were made from all these different beings that mixed all their different galactic DNAs within us, okay? Having said that, when it comes to souls, when it comes to, starseed souls, it's a little bit different. You would have your kind of like more earth-based souls, which would be your souls that have evolved into, from, I'll speak about the dimensional densities as well, but that have evolved from a soul dimensional density. So again, here, guys, just to, for you, so that you can understand, there is different densities in dimensions, and there is different densities in dimensions of souls as well. Those are two separate things, okay? So one will be your density where you live in, which would be your 3D, 4D, 5D, 6D and up. And the other one would be your dimensional density of your soul. So the evolution and how far your soul has come, and to what extent your soul, or part of the soul, which is into the physical body now, has reached. So your kind of like your human beings and your more earthly based souls would be around like a 3D going into a 4D density of soul, which means that they've learned their lessons. They've come from like, a 1D soul would be an example of a 1D soul would be air, or fire, or, an elemental would kind of be that, which is not an elemental being. It's just like kind of like an element. As a 2D soul, an example would be kind of like an animal. Then you'll have your lower 2D tiers, which would be your kind of like plants and things like that. And then you'll have your animals, which would be in your higher levels of 2D. Again, it's kind of like, because of the multidimensionality and the multidimensional aspect of everyone, it's not kind of like categorical, but just for the sake of understanding, okay? So your earthly beings would be between your 3D and 4D, okay? And this would be beings that have come here on Earth to experience Earth, to experience the lessons, to experience the understanding, to have the experience of the soul, and to then evolve and move on, or stay here, do different karmic cycles, do different experiences. But it would be your souls that haven't really lived much in other galaxies, let's put it that way, or in other planets. However, because of the galactic DNA composition that we all have, I want everyone to really understand the importance of this. You can all access all information at any given moment in time, because you are all part of source consciousness. We all have that connection to source consciousness. So it doesn't matter if you're Pleiadian, if you're in an Anunnaki, if you've lived here one life, if you've lived here a million lives. If you want to access information, you will be able to. You have a system, you have a chakra, you're an antenna, you are an energy field. You can access all and any information at any given time. So in the end, to an extent, it doesn't really matter that much. I always try to really move away from attachment to identity and to any labels, because it's limiting. We are infinite beings of light, and being limited to, being just, I am this, I am that, can like preclude you from living in your highest alignment. It's the same when a client comes to me and they're like, oh, what is my soul mission? Where am I going? What am I doing? And I say to them, you can really be anything that you ever want to. If you come to me and I say to you, you need to be an architect, that's going to be limiting, because you know what I mean? It doesn't matter what I channel on the timeline today might be different to what the timeline is tomorrow and in a week from now. Okay. So really important to understand that regardless of what kind of like soul imprinting you have, and kind of like to what stage your soul is at this moment in time, you can really be anything you want. Okay. So you'll kind of have that. I'm going to move into also speaking a little bit about soul fragment retrieval, but this is kind of like the one type of soul that I want to speak of. Then we have the ones that I like to call your more permanent star seeds, which is your star seeds that are here and stay here and like staying here and have been here for very long. So they seeded off planet, they seeded within Lyra, Pleiades, Sirius. They've got mixed soul DNA, but they have been here for long, and they are staying here, and they are kind of like here for the mission, and they keep on like, moving through every lifetime and assisting and helping and then getting the memories back and whatnot, but they stay here. Okay. So they would have incarnations, kind of like cyclical ones. A lot of them actually now at this moment in time, especially in the last, I think it's been since the end of January, there's been a very, very big portal that's been open above Earth. A lot of souls have been choosing to leave. So there's been a lot of sudden deaths, a lot of like kind of like accidents and things like that. I've seen it in my own kind of circle of knowings as well. And these are souls who either choose not to be here for the awakening ascension process, or they don't want to be in the physical vessel where they are now, and they're choosing to come straight back. A lot of them are coming straight back. A lot of them are leaving through the portal and out. Yeah, I'm going to speak a little bit about all this further on, okay? So this would be kind of like your more permanent star seeds that choose to be here a lot. And then you would have your kind of like, I like to call these your cycle star seeds, which would be me. Probably a lot of you who are here now as well are either permanent or cycle star seeds. Your cycle star seeds would be your star seeds that come here, stay here for a while, choose to leave, go off, have other experiences, come back here, choose to leave, go off, have other experiences and whatnot. A lot of these cycle star seeds would have been present in Lemuria, in Atlantis, very ancient wisdom, very ancient knowledge, very evolved souls as well. And a lot of your cycle star seeds also have, well, most of us do, but a lot of your cycle star seeds will have higher versions of themselves assisting and present at this moment in time. So for me, I've got a 9th dimensional Pleiadian version of myself that I work with very closely, and a 12th dimensional mantis being version of myself that I also work with very closely. I then kind of tend to tune into, I've had a lot of lifetimes. I had Lemuria first, and then I had a few in Atlantis. I kind of like worked the both sides in Atlantis. I would say the good and the other experience side as well. So a lot of star seeds as well at this moment in time. We are all together going through healing this abandonment wound. So this kind of like separation from source, and this kind of like the split, this removing yourself from source. And it comes into this longing that we have in being understood and being supported and feeling safe, feeling secured, feeling anchored, feeling balanced, feeling grounded. And we struggle because we have so much information held within us in our galactic DNA, in our structure, and in our energy field that, when it comes to integrating it and embodying it from a human level, we struggle. We struggle to deal with emotions like envy, anger, pain, resentment. We don't really understand jealousy because we've lived in these higher perpetual states of beings like 5th dimensional density and up, where you won't really have you won't really have to deal with these emotions. You won't have to deal with chores. You won't have to deal with tidying up. You don't have to deal with someone who's jealous. You don't have to deal with backstabbing. backstabbing. Okay, so this kind of then also plays into the empathy, the heart center, the understanding that empathy without boundaries is self-destruction. And this is kind of like what we've been working through now as starseeds and as a collective, you know, setting your boundaries and understanding that you need to come first. And if you're not really solid, supported, grounded, and anchored within yourself, you cannot really assist, you know. And a lot of people, you know, and I know because I was there myself, you're here, you want to help, you're open, you want to assist, but you're struggling. Why? Because you're not setting your boundaries. So you're trying to pour from a cup which is half empty. You want your cup to be, you know, between an 85 and 95% full before you actually go start assisting on a collective level. So a lot of you want to help, you want to assist, but if your life and how you're living is not in alignment with your truth, with who you are and with where you want to be, then you're going to struggle, okay? So how do you do that? How do you stay in a space of truth? How do you stay in a high alignment, okay? You work on the connection between the heart and the throat, which is actually what I'm working now as I'm speaking to you guys. I'm working on opening your systems. I will do some transmission, but they're just making me work as I speak now as well anyway. They seem to wait like the whole week. They're like, oh, you're going on. Okay. So now we're sending you everything all at once. You're doing it all at the same time. Okay. So how do you stay in your truth? Okay. So being in your truth is not just about speaking your truth. It's about living in alignment with who you are. So when your thoughts, actions, emotions, and words are all in alignment, you say something, it's what you think, and you do it. Okay. If you're doing something and you're doing it against your will, you're not in your truth. If you say you're going to do something and then you don't follow through and you don't do it, then you're not in your truth, okay? So really, really sitting and checking in with yourselves. Is this who I am? Is this where I want to be? Is this sitting okay with me, you know? And understanding that, you know, we get programmed by consumeristic society to be in a space where, you know, people pleasing, and we're looking for external validation throughout our lifetimes. I need this to be happy. I need the material things. I need the job, the car, the relationship, whatever it is. You don't need any of that. You don't need any of that to be happy. When you understand that you don't need any of that to be happy and you can be happy without it, that's when you anchor into the abundance. That's when you anchor into a space where you can attract all and anything and everything that it is that your heart desires and that you really want, okay? Yeah, this is going to help with the heart center. So, okay, understanding that you are the only person in control of your own emotions and your actions and your words. You cannot control other people's, okay? If you say something and someone gets upset and they say to you, oh, you're upsetting me. No, I'm not upsetting you. You're making yourself upset. I can't upset you. I'm not in control about your emotions. You're in control of them. I can't do anything about it. I'm speaking my truth. By speaking your truth, guys, I don't mean you don't have to be rude or mean or evil, or, you know, you need to speak from the heart with compassion. So I like to apply something that is called compassionate non-attachment. So you're in a space where you're unconditionally love everyone and everything, but you don't have any attachment to it, so it doesn't really affect you. Obviously, you'll have your healthy attachments in your healthy cords, and the ones that are, you know, good. And let me know in the comments if you guys want me to speak about energy cords. I know a lot of you probably know already much about it, but if you want me to, I'll expand a little bit on energy cords as well. Yeah, so understanding that by you being in your truth, you're going to align with whatever is your heart's desires, your soul mission. Some of us do have soul missions to an extent that we have done what we're doing in this lifetime in many other lifetimes. So me, for example, I've been doing energy work in lots of lifetimes. I've been like a priestess, a tantric practitioner. I've been down the road quite a few times, and this is why in this lifetime it comes very easily for me to be up here, right? But again, you know, for the challenge for me and for a lot of starseeds as well, because of kind of like the information that we can receive and the openness that we have between our crown and third eye, the struggle is to ground and to be in a space where you're balanced with your root chakra. So understanding that by being in your truth, you're not only anchoring into your highest timeline, but you are also serving a lesson to someone else. They might need to hear that truth from you. If they're not hearing it from you and you're not speaking your truth, you're taking a lesson away from them, okay? You're blocking your throat, and you mean it, you know, and you're then causing, you know, an emotion that's blocked when your sacral, your solar plexus, and as a consequence, your throat as well. What happens? you blocked, you can't channel, you can't open, you cannot connect. The toroidal field flows from the bottom up. This is how it flows, okay? If you block lower down, you cannot access higher up. 90% of people who come to me, oh, I'll tell you, I need a session. My third eye is blocked. My pineal gland's not working. I've got attachments. I've got entities. I've got implants. I've got art plants. My third eye is not working. No, you're not grounding. You're not anchoring. You're not speaking your truth. Your lower chakras are not open. That's why energy isn't able to access here. Energy isn't flowing up here. So you're struggling to access your third eye and crown and psychic intuition. Most people don't have their third eyes blocked. I don't know where this third eye block thing comes from. I don't know if it's a dark agenda thing. I don't know if it's something that they're telling people so they're convincing themselves that they blocked. They're not, guys. Your third eye is working perfectly fine. Your system's working fine. You just need to work on speaking your truth, opening your heart center, and doing a little bit of the extra work on the lower chakras, okay? Yeah, and you can do that by working on the core abandonment wound, okay? And just by grounding, things you can do to ground is anything that has to do with nature, anything that brings you back in the moment, anything that is creative, anything that you're passionate about, anything that reverts back to the five senses, and you can smell, taste, see, hear, or feel will be grounding. Anything artistic will be grounding for you. Anything can be grounding. Exercise can be really grounding, you know, as long as you are anchored and present in what you're doing in that moment. And ideally, you want to live into that. You want to live in 0-point neutrality. You want to live in a space where you are everything and nothing, where your baseline vibrational frequency is high, but you're also neutral. So you can be anything and everything that you want. By doing that, you are then able to anchor into the vibration of co-creating your life. And what it is that you desire in whatever direction you want to go through. You can be anything that you want, okay, guys? So it's really, really important for you guys to know that, to understand that, to anchor this kind of like concept within your heart centers. I'm going to speak a little bit about soul fragment retrieval and starseeds. This is quite a big thing. And it's really also important for you guys to know and understand. First of all, I'm going to start by saying that you are already whole. The fact that you can access other parts of your multidimensional self and you can do soul fragment retrieval doesn't mean that you are not whole as a being. So really understanding that you are very whole, okay? So what happens with soul fragment retrieval? Okay, so, I'm going to quickly, I always have to explain this. Yeah, just for the sake of this conversation, okay? Okay, so when you speak about dimensional densities, okay, so now I'm speaking about the density and dimensions that you live in. So when something is first dimensional density, it just is, okay? So then you can imagine them kind of overlapping. When something is second dimensional density, it is, and it has consciousness of being, okay? So it's kind of there. Third dimensional density, it has consciousness of being, and it can now take action, okay? But it's still limited by the constraints of time and space. So your third dimensional density, where we live now, we between the third and fourth, but where we are now, you would be limited by time and space. So time is still linear, like, you know, most of us not really, because we're accessing our higher vibrational frequency and densities. But let's say if you're just, you know, you're playing your 3D kind of like you know, person average doing their average everyday life would be in third dimensional density would be limited by time and space. When you access your fourth dimensional density, which would be your astral plane, there is no more limitation of time. So time is fluid. You can manifest anything that you want instantly, okay? So what happens in fourth dimensional density? You still have limitation of space. You still need to walk and fly to places or take taxis or drive cars or buses or whatever it is. Like if you noticed in your dreams, you can really be anywhere. You can manifest anything. You know, you can co-create kind of like your surroundings, but you can't teleport, okay? So the astral space is a very, very powerful space to do soul fragment retrieval. And I'll get to that just now. Before I explain the fifth dimensional density, what happens is something is that it has consciousness of being, it can take action. It isn't limited by time or space. Time is fluid and space is fluid as well. And then in your sixth dimensional densities and up, you would have your kind of like collective consciousness. So you would have your Christ consciousness, your raw collective. You would have these souls that have evolved even further that you can choose. You can choose to go to 12th dimensional density and still stay in as an individual soul, or you can choose to kind of like conglomerate with other souls and other aspects of you and other aspects of other souls in order to get closer to source consciousness. So it would be kind of like an accumulation of souls, if it makes sense, okay? So to understand soul fragment retrieval, how does that work? So why is it important to heal? Why is it important to clear your programming, clear your karma, clear your traumas? Because as you do that, you start raising your vibration, you start kind of like, this is what I do in my sessions as well. This is what I assist with for clients when they come to me for energy work. So I'll access the Akash. I will do some work on the Akashic records, and then what I'll do is I'll go into the timeline, and I'm going to actually neutralize it for them and neutralize the karmic cycle or whatever it is that it's affecting them. So what happens when you do that? Okay, and I'm going to explain to you guys how you can do that in your own time as well. Okay, you can go to someone who does it for you, but in the end, you need to do the healing. We can just hold space and initiate. Okay, so what do? What happens? So let's say you're going into an experience that you had from a previous lifetime, which was quite traumatic. I don't know, you had a problem with alcohol. In this lifetime, you struggle with addiction, okay? If you go into that lifetime and you send healing, send love, you neutralize the timeline. By doing that, I mean you neutralize the karmic reverberation of it, and you kind of make it neutral. Then in this lifetime, you're going to clear that pattern. You're going to clear the program. You're going to collapse it on a quantum level. You're going to collapse it in the infinite possibilities of the timeline. Because guys, remember, because I'm actually going to start coughing to clear. I'm going to clear through my nose as well. I feel like I need to sneeze. Yeah, so I'm actually clearing timelines for you guys. I'm going to go into and clear a little bit more just now. So what happens through that aspect of self is you align in a timeline where you don't have that trauma. So you're now in a timeline where you don't have that experience, or you've neutralized that. There's kind of like those two different ways where you can clear it. And so you don't have the program anymore within this lifetime. Now, as you do that, you do something which is called soul fragment retrieval. You call parts of your soul fragments to yourself. And by doing that, you will activate more parts of your dormant DNA, of your multidimensional self, and as a consequence of your psychic gifts as well. This is the perfect example that I'm going to give you, because this happened with me about 1.5 years ago. I was doing some very deep work on soul fragment retrieval, and I went into this lifetime where I was a mermaid. I was massacred. I was on the beach. I eventually was then brought to the physical space in this third dimensional density and reality, so on Earth, and I had to clear that for, yeah, it wasn't thousands, but hundreds of souls that were there at that moment in time. Anyway, so when I integrated that aspect and part of myself, a new kind of like a new singing expression of my light language started coming through because of that soul fragment that I had integrated. So now it's going to be more subtle in the beginning. It's generally very subtle. This is a very clear example of it, because my throat was cut there. I was massacred. It was not like a pleasant lifetime, but by me going into that and healing it and clearing it, I was able then to access more parts of myself, which I kind of, brought back into me, and then are helping me now to this moment, to assist on a collective level. Okay, so this is a little bit about soul fragment retrieval. Another very beautiful space where you can do soul fragment retrieval, and that works very well with clearing and healing, is your astral space, your dream realm. Guys, I cannot emphasize enough the importance of the astral space. You don't necessarily have to be a master lucid dreamer or practitioner. You don't have to be someone who, knows what's going on all the time. But if you go to sleep and you ask your guides with the intention to help you and assist you in your astral space to clear and release what doesn't serve you anymore, then you're going to really use the space to the best of your ability. The astral space is not dangerous. I just saw someone write that the astral space is dangerous. No, that remember, everything that you have, every situation where you are in is a projection and a manifestation of what is going on within you. If you go to sleep angry, if you go to sleep scared, if you go to sleep in a low vibrational frequency, you're going to access the low vibrational tiers of the astral space, okay? And so as a consequence, you will maybe get psychic attacks and whatnot. I'll speak a little bit about that as well. But how do you get through that? You just raise your vibration. You think about love, you think about happiness, joy, whatever it is. And what happens is, so let's say your lower astral tiers is here. This is your higher astral tiers. You rise up here. Okay, what is down here cannot access up here. They need to stay there in their vibration, because if they want to attack you or hurt you or whatnot, they cannot raise to the higher levels of your astral realm. So the astral realm is a very, 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 very powerful realm to be in, a very powerful space where you can really do a lot of clearing because of this lack of limitation of time, because of time being fluid. Then you can heal instantly. You can instantly clear karma. You can instantly clear lessons. You can instantly neutralize timelines. So my advice would be, well, first of all, to connect and communicate with your guides, and understanding that they are here to help you, and they send us experiences in our astral space for us to be able to clear. So what happens is you might dream of someone that you knew when you were very young and have a conversation with them, and that's you clearing whatever imbalance there was between you two guys. And that's a lot easier than you picking up the phone, looking up where they are, calling them and speaking to them in your reality as of now. Okay, so so even if we don't always remember what happens in our astral, it doesn't mean that we're not clearing. It doesn't mean that we're not accessing these kind of like experiences. But I think a good way is really asking, guys. A lot of the time we forget that there is the law of non-intervention. Unless we ask our guides to help us and assist us, they cannot help us, because it would be going against our free will. So my advice would be to wake up every morning, sit with yourself for like 5 to 10 minutes, sit in a space of gratitude, call your guides, call your higher selves, and remember and understand that the effort that you put into your spirituality is effort and energy that goes back into yourself. You're not putting it into anything external. You're putting it into you, into your system, into your energy field, into yourself, okay? So really, really understanding that to also be in a space of openness and in a space of where you ground it. I'm going to have to start with the light language. There's about 100 of them that are coming in that want to send me through codes. There's a lot of your guides here. There's a big team. There's a whole Ascension Council that's here as well. They might come through and say something later. Let's see. There's a lot of things that I want to speak about. But I'm going to quickly just touch on, I think this is one that a lot of people really, this is one that really a lot of people want to know, is how to connect to your guides, how to communicate. You know, I teach channeling classes, and I teach how to really open up more your channel. First of all, understanding that we are all channelers. We all have a chakra system. We all have an energy field. We all upgrading to crystalline, but let's say for the sake of conversation that, you know, we can work on the chakra system. So we can all be psychic, we can all access our guides, we can all have that connection. I mean, it's like everything else, guys, it's practice. Practice makes you better, whether it's a sport, a language, whatever it is, okay? So really, really understanding how is it that your guides can communicate with you. So guys, again, non-linear, not in the way you expect it. They're not going to speak in your ear. You're not going to, if you ask your guides, oh, let's meditate, let's say, you know, do I have to go left or right? In this, I don't know, in this journey, and they're not going to show you an image that says left. Okay, they're going to show you a pink car that your grandfather owned, the same one, and used to park it on the left, and then you'll know you have to go left. Okay, so it's really comes down to unlearning all the conditioning, unlearning all the structure, unlearning all the programming. Okay, this is what spirituality is about. It's not about being anything. It's about unlearning and releasing. Okay, and letting go and letting go and letting go of all the things that you've been taught, that you think that you are, or that you expect, all the expectations and whatnot, and learning your truth, learning your understanding, learning your own embodiment of self, of what spirituality is and of who you are. Once you unlearn the conditioning, okay, it's easier to step more into that because you don't have the structure anymore. And then you can see and kind of like understand what it means to not be linear. Nothing in spirituality and being psychic and being a starseed, in what is happening now on a collective and planetary level, nothing of it is linear, guys. Forget about the linear things. Forget about what you've been taught at school. Forget about, it's all non-linear, and it's all heart-based, heart-centered. So following your heart, following your intuition, working with this connection, working with the balance between here and here. So trusting yourself, being in a space of self-love and self-trust. And this is where the abandonment wound and the root core healing and the feeling safe and secure really, 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 really helps. If you are in an environment when you're not supported or safe or secure, you're going to struggle to access your gifts. You're going to struggle to access your psychic intuition. Other ways that your guides can come through to you is through nature. Nature elements, air, fire, water, through pets, through animals. Pets have a really important role right now in the ascension with our starseeds. A lot of them are old souls and souls that have lived. Like I had a cat, she's still around, she's not physically with me anymore, she hasn't passed on. She was a phoenix and a unicorn and a dragon, and she decided to come back into this lifetime as a cat, as a Persian cat, so even like the most chilled and relaxed cat ever, to help and assist through lessons. She helped me, and then she's moved off to another family, and she's got, her roles, her role to fulfill as well. So that's also another way that your guides can come through to you as well. Okay, so just really understanding that the depth to, okay, yeah, okay, your understanding of, your guides, your higher self, and your connection is directly proportionate to the depths to which you've met yourself. If you're lying to yourself, if you're not open with yourself, if you're not living in your truth, you're going to struggle to connect. You're going to struggle to open. You're going to struggle to find a sense of direction, okay? And it's obviously easier said than done. Like, guys, I've been there. I was in a space where I was broke, in debt, come out from an abusive relationship, no job. I was like, really, and I learned to trust. I really, really trusted the process and trusted that everything was going to work out. And then it did. And it does sound easier said than done, because a lot of us move through, it's kind of like, it gets easier. The healing doesn't really end. We cannot really achieve complete soul fragment retrieval in this lifetime because our physical vessel wouldn't be able to kind of withstand it and hold it. So you can raise your vibration up to a certain point. You can keep on raising it. But when it comes to complete soul fragment retrieval, yeah, okay, yeah. So understanding that it gets easier with time, and also, again, being compassionate with yourselves, especially, like, I wanted to quickly touch on what's been going on an energetic perspective in the last few months and what we're going to move into April now as well. So, I mean, January till the end of January, we're still clearing 2022. So the new year actually only started around the beginning of February. The whole of January was still, so if your January was terrible and, you had a lot of karmic cycles and things coming to a close and whatnot, you were still closing the old year. February got a little bit better, but we were still being hit with a lot of energetic things that were coming through. We had quite a few portal openings there, and then we had March. To me, March balanced out a bit. February for me was more intense, but a lot of people carried the intensity through into March as well. We had a very big karmic closure last Thursday on the 23/03/23. So a lot of old cycles coming to an end. A lot of you seeing what it is with the family members. A lot of family members kind of like, a lot of complications in that aspect as well. And the best way that you can actually hold space for them is just to hold your light. Just to hold your light and spread it out. And now we're moving into April. So April is Aries, which is me. I'm Aries. For those of you who don't know, those of you who follow me know. So it's all about fire, rebirth, opening up. We entering the new astrological year as well. There is a huge influx of energy that's going to be coming in on the 404 portal. I've actually been sent, I'll speak about this a little bit more maybe tomorrow on my Instagram, but I have a workshop that's coming up on the 4th, which is next Tuesday, where I'm being sent. I know to an extent what I'm doing, but I don't really. I do a lot of planetary grid work. So I physically work on the ley lines and the grids of the planet. So I'll activate, I'll open portals, close them. My whole body will become like a huge crystalline structure system where I'll kind of like take in on a physical level, low vibrational frequencies, and then I'll transmute them and sending up into the light and into light. And then so I do that on Earth as well. So I'm activating, I'm actually bringing in a new Metatronic grid activation on the 404. So we're going to be working with the 4 corners of the earth, with the 4 elements, and with a lot of other things as well. So yeah, you can, if you're interested in that, that's going to be a very powerful thing that's coming through. That'll be opening, and I'll also be doing a guided meditation with some other people as well. Okay, I'm going to speak a little bit more. How am I on time? Okay, I've got a little bit of time left. Okay, so I'm going to speak a little bit about Lemuria and Atlantis, because it feels in alignment, and I'll bring through some codes with regards to that just now as well. So a lot of kind of like a big thing that's been coming through in the past few months is this technology, right? So how to use the technology, what is going on with the technology, how is the technology evolving? Okay, so first of all, it is down to the individual. Like everything else, like the ascension process, like wherever we're going, it's down to the individual. The individual will then affect the collective. You cannot shift blame or responsibility. It's down to you. You want to be in your truth, in your space, in your light, and by walking in your light, you carry your light for others to see, and then you spread your light. You cannot force anyone to do anything. Do you know what I mean? All you can do is lead by example. Okay, so when it comes down to technology, there's quite a big, like I don't want to say like fear programming, but that is what it is, because what's happening is we are reliving Atlantean karma. So a lot of us who were there at the fall of Atlantis, well, there were 3 different ones from that I've been at and that I've channeled. Anyway, those of us who were there during them know what happened, know that the machines took over, know that you know, it wasn't fun. It wasn't good. Like when I had my first memory of the Atlantean Holocaust, I actually cried for about 2 hours. There's a drawing on my Instagram, if you guys go check out. I think I posted it back in 2018 or 2019, where you can literally see these huge, like spider-like machines coming down, like killing people, and these volcanoes erupting. Anyway, long story short, we're clearing the Atlantean karma right now on an individual level, on a collective level, on a planetary level, and on a galactic level. So we are really at one of the most pivotal and important moments right now, as individuals, as humans, as starseeds, as, you know, a collective unified consciousness as well, because we are clearing for Mother Gaia too. Okay, she's clearing her own karma. So all these kind of like earthquakes and natural disasters, she's doing her own thing, but through that we are also doing ours, and we are clearing it together. So there's a big fear, because it's the old programming of what happened before in ancient Atlantis, you know, and in Lemuria. So what happened is Lemuria was a little bit earlier, and then they overlapped for a little bit, and then kind of like Lemuria ended, and then it was more kind of like Atlantis, but I think they overlapped for a little bit as well. Okay, I'm going to pull through some codes now. Let's see if there's anything here else that like really importantly want to speak about. Yeah, okay. Yeah, just one last thing. Really, guys, living, you know, in your truth is the best thing that you can do for yourselves and for anyone around you. And if something's not okay, say it. If you're not happy with something, voice it, you know. Yeah, the worst thing that can come of it is what, you know, you say something, someone gets upset, they don't speak to you anymore. You don't want someone like that in your life anyway. Okay, so it doesn't matter what happens, stay in a space of trust. And I promise you guys, like, I promise you, listen, like my whole life And basically my whole career is built on intuition and on being in my truth. If I mean, I can't lie. I never lie, ever, 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 never, ever, ever, ever. Because if I did, I wouldn't be, it wouldn't be in alignment with what I do. So same thing why I used to drink coffee a few years ago. And then I checked in with myself and I was like, I actually teach non-attachment. I can't have any attachments, you know, so I stopped drinking coffee. I don't drink coffee anymore now. I'm not saying that you should stop drinking coffee, guys, but just for understanding, you know, you need to live in alignment with what you say and what you are, especially, you know, a lot of you starseeds, you're in this line of work, or you want to go into this line of work. And yeah, it comes with discipline and structure. You need to be disciplined. You can flow, but you need to have structure. You need to have boundaries. You can't, yeah. Okay. So you can start closing your eyes and find a comfortable breathing rhythm. With every inhale, you breathe in light. With every exhale, you release all that no longer serves you. As we call on the Archangelic Collective, Michael to the south, Uriel to the north, Raphael to the east, and Gabriel to the west. We call on Archangel Metatron with his blue cloak of protection from above and Sandalphon to seal the grid from below. As we call on our higher selves, our spirit guides, anyone else who wishes to be present for the greatest and highest good, you're welcome in the space. Opening, opening systems, opening structures, activating. Okay, a lot of you are very, very open already. It's a good thing. This is clearing cords, clearing in the sacral and solar plexus, clearing, releasing, letting go. Opening, letting go, cleaning, releasing. Now you can physically pull out, guys. If you're feeling like you need to pull out, physically pull out. Work on your system as I'm working on you as well. Being releasing, opening. Opening, expanding, letting go, clearing all programming, releasing, letting go, calling in divine rays, aurora rays, coming in, green rays, anchoring. There's a lot of angelic presence around. Activating, letting go, clearing, releasing. I'm clearing the blood. Some of you might feel things release from your hands, your feet. I'm going into the nervous system now, up the spinal column. Clearing, releasing, more light, expanding into light, connecting synapses, connecting structures, activating DNA structures, opening up two more light, divine rays coming in, anchoring, crystalline codes coming in, anchoring. Okay, we're working with the rainbow spectrum now, opening, two more light, cooling in, divine rays. Chakare asiro anishina te chiara trio to cura isara te chiara te krato kuna eirat ura ta kriata krata kra tri arosiet anmari erot ura siet araisiera ishna te chiara ishera ta kra. Okay, I'm activating some of your armors as well. Tietuk una ishit aro tu kurat erat rat ura sierat ara sierat irut urat kar yeserat kra ndrianit ki are ot ura. This is a mixture between mantis and Victorian technology that's coming through now. Tik urat riatik urro tre ia rasierat riatik anorut mara iserat ra ishnotuk una iserat kra. Okay, nishno tukumara yesira ta cry, otukura yesira ta kra, nre otukura sira ta kriya tara yeshina ta kra. Okay, ishutukum aya shira tria tre ne un urwa tria sira ta kra. Okay, I'm just going to bring through the last few codes. This are going to help with the self-love and self-trust. Yeshurat ushina ta kra is going to help with healing the abandonment wound as well. Ncharo tietokua isena yachmera ishira tikira ta kra. Triatre otukura yasira tre yate oishina ta kie kar ayasiro tukura triesara. Nrei marwa triate kiera tukura isira tikara isira ta. As we evolve into higher versions of self, we stay in a space of love and self-trust. Shining our light, opening up to more light, to more universal knowledge and understanding of self, understanding of universal systems and universal structures. As we open up to more light and more divine rays, parts of multidimensional self, we call in all parts of self, we call in all soul fragments, we call in all DNA. Ishatukua isinataka riatek amuru atia ishaneatie na ishenatakara. Yes, we call in higher versions of self, anchoring. Sure, some of you are going to have really nice shifts after this. Anchoring, golden rays coming in, anchoring. Okay. 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 I'm going to close off. Okay. Yeah, I just want to thank you everyone for being here and holding space, for allowing me to express, to channel, to heal. And as you know, you heal, I heal, we all healing each other because we are all connected. So thank you for allowing me the space. Yeah, I think more my links will be linked below. If you want to find me, my website and my Instagram. I've got quite a few events coming up. I've got my collective healing, which is the 12th of every month. It's 45 minutes of channeled light language, only for $12. So that's very accessible for everyone. I'm currently doing a fundraiser because I'll be going to do some planetary grid work in the desert in April, so towards the end of April. So I've just asked people to support me with that because it's quite expensive to get there. And then, yeah, my Metatronic grid activation, which is on Tuesday. I take people through programs, 6 weeks, 6 months. So if you want to connect with me, I do one-on-one Akashic clearing. I do light language. I teach a channeling masterclass once every 2 months. I've got tickets available for May. I'm not doing April and March. I did actually on Friday. So that was over and done. So yeah, I think that's kind of everything from my side. Thank you guys. I'm going to pass it on. I don't know if there's any questions from the hosts, or yeah, if there's anything else that I can assist with, I'll be happy to.
Oh man, wow. I don't even know where to start. I'm sweating. I was standing. What a powerful activation. I felt the anchoring. Bless you, sister. Thank you a million times. Thank you on behalf of everyone here from my heart. Like, wow, you did a lot and you allowed a lot to come through. So yeah, Flo, what did you feel? Because
that was incredible. I am so honored to have received that. You were just like sharing wisdom, clearing the field, dropping light language. You were pretty much like had like 8 arms just working your magic and
And I'm an Aries too, so I'm like, yes, I like spirit moves fast, and you just have to like let it come in and receive it. So that was awesome. All right, we have questions. Flo, do you want to start with a couple?
Sure. Okay. So, an individual is trying to clear negative cords from someone that has passed on. Do you have any guidance for how this person can work with this?
Yeah, send them love and healing to the person that has passed on. And guys, also understand some cords cannot be broken. They can be made inactive, however. So, for example, cords from your parents, you can't break those. If they're affecting you negatively, you can make them inactive. How do you do that? You take away your attention. You take away the power that you're giving to it, okay? But if you want to neutralize the karma with a cord, I would say sending love, sending healing, being in a space of compassion towards the situation or the person, or whatever it is, you know, that kind of happened. But some cords, as I said, they cannot be removed, but if they made inactive, then they're not going to affect you negatively.
Thank you. Okay. How do you know the beings who come to you in your sleep or at dream time are trustworthy? There's people that are working through fear programming and things like this. How can they know?
Okay, so you'll feel it. And I think when, I know, because I've been attacked a lot of times in the astral, like it's kind of like one of the Starseed energy worker school tests that you get put through, right? You know, when you get at a certain level, like it's inevitable, you're going to get psychically attacked, you know, in your astral space. I think what you can do is actually, if it's a negative being or a co-creation or something that is an illusion, you can actually break through it. But again, you need to be in a space where you've met yourself deeply. If you're confused within yourself, you're not going to be able to know what's going on there either, because you're going to project a confusion, if it makes sense. So a lot of the times we get these astral experiences because we pre-contracted to have them. Like I had a very intense psychic attack from reptilian beings back in February of last year. And I was like, when I woke up, and I taught them, I mean, I kind of like spray light from my hands and my third eye and whatnot. Anyway, I woke up and I checked with my guys. I'm like, this shouldn't be allowed in my field. Why are these beings in my astral space? They were like, no. This is a lesson that you contracted to go through so that you can then, if it happens to one of your clients or to other people, you can explain to them whatnot. So yeah, just see them for what they are, lessons, and don't allow it to consume you, and don't get attached to the story. It happens. Okay, allow it, release it, thank it, see it as a space of gratitude and let it go.
Thank you. And real quick, working with your higher dimensional or future self, how do you contact, or like at what point do you call that timeline or that version of yourself forward? Is there a protocol of some sort that you like to do?
Yeah, well, no, there's never a protocol.
Yeah.
But I would say the more you start healing yourself, the more you start accessing multidimensional parts of self, like the soul fragment retrieval, the easier it's going to be. And the more clarity you'll get, but it will take practice and it will take time, you know, so it's not kind of like instant, but again, with the self-trust and the self-love, then you can really access any part of you or any higher version of you, but you need to trust that you can. That's the most important thing.
Most important. Thank you so much. Flo, any other questions from you?
Yeah, we have a lot of questions. Sorry we can't get to them all, but I'm just going to read the last question so we get to our next speaker, which is, can you speak more about the fire in April? This individual just had a powerful dream with fire this week.
I don't think I mentioned the fire in April. I don't know. Okay, do you want me to channel this?
Yeah, I remember you mentioned something about when we're entering April, it's the
Yeah,
energy
I
of
entered
fire.
4 elements. So how I'm going to work with is anchoring the grid with the 4 elements and with the 4 corners of the earth. So it's kind of like more an energetic understanding, not an actual physical fire. I don't really tend to go too much into these things when it comes to like disasters and things like that, because the timelines are changing so consistently that it's very difficult to predict and say, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. But what I can say is, because we into the Aries, into the fire sign, it is a rebirthing. It is kind of like the phoenix rising, and it is an entering into the astrological new year. So powerful time to manifest, powerful time to let go, powerful time to be creative and set your intention. So I hope this kind of answers a little bit the
Absolutely.
question.